We actually announced the acquisition of a 7.2 megawatt data center by the Toronto City Airport. And so that's very exciting too, because that data center will allow us to run up to 3,000 Blackwell GPUs.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Hive Digital Technology CEO Aidan Killich. Aidan, very good to speak with you. Hive's doubled its hash rate to 12 exahash per second in just 6 months. How did you achieve that? What part did the build out at Iguazu in Paraguay play?
Well, it's been a remarkable process because we brought on 1 exahash per week, 5 weeks in a row. That was phase one, the first 100 megawatts, air cooled. Now, phase two has just come online. That will be an additional 6.5 exahash. And we just brought online the first exahash in phase two. And that's why we put out the press release. So very momentous. We got that first exahash online for phase two, and we've now crossed the 12 exahash threshold globally, which gets us to the $250 million mark. And really, it's a function of the Iguazu site that we acquired. The phase one was 95% complete. So we finished the construction. All our ASICs arrived, the Bitmain S21 Plus air cooled. Those are getting installed sequentially. We brought that online very quickly. But moreover, in parallel, we're finalizing and building out the infrastructure for phase two. And this is a new lane for us at Hive to do hydro-cooled ASIC miners, but that's the future. And I was at Bitmain's WDMS conference in Vegas, where they unveiled the new S23, and we did a signing ceremony. So hydro is sort of the future, because all these jurisdictions where you have this stranded massive amounts of power, the climate, you might have unique climates. The hydro cooling technology helps you isolate the climate and get very stable, high performance, right? So we're able to rapidly scale by acquiring the site. First phase was 95% done. We finished that up. Phase two, we built that in parallel, and boom, now we're just continuing to scale. We're going to be at 18 exahash before the end of August.
In fact, you're targeting 25 exahash by the end of November. How confident are you can sustain this pace of growth, and what milestones should investors be looking out for?
Well, I think the big milestone that we talked about yesterday is 400 million ARR in about 6 weeks. We're at $250 million ARR today, and we'll be at 400 million in 6 weeks. So let's talk about that. So our market cap right now is under 400 million US. And by the way, our mining margins, so our profit after electrical costs, will be about 60%. What's 60% of 400 million? It's about $250 million of cash flow from operations on an annualized basis in 6 weeks. That's huge. It's transformative. I think our stock is due for a re-rating. By the way, we have about 600 Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and we used a call option. We used a BTC pledge, a very creative structure where we pledged our Bitcoin to acquire our ASICs. So we have the option to buy back our Bitcoin and get our HODL back to over $2,000. The pledge price, which is no debt, zero interest, it's a zero cost call option, $87,000. We're $30,000 in the money on each Bitcoin that we pledge. We're up almost $40 million on that pledge deal. So we scale very creatively for our shareholders. It's not just about scaling at any cost, it's about scaling with maximum ROI.
Beyond Bitcoin mining, you've also hinted at preparing for the AI data center era. How will your infrastructure in Paraguay position Hive to capitalize on that opportunity?
Well, we actually announced the acquisition of a 7.2 megawatt data center by the Toronto City Airport. And so that's very exciting too, because that data center will allow us to run up to 3,000 Blackwell GPUs and or up to 5,000 H series GPUs. And that will allow us to generate an expected additional 80 million ARR. And that can get, we're going to do a retrofit on that, make it liquid cool, but that could get us to our $100 million annualized target for the Buzz HPC AI business, which is a subsidiary of Hive. So we actually have multiple things going. We have data centers for AI, we have data centers for Bitcoin mining.
And all this as Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, Aidan.
Yeah, exactly. So no better time to be a Hive shareholder. Bitcoin to the moon. And thanks for it. Stay tuned. As Frank likes to say, we're baking a cake. It smells really good. Stay tuned because it's going to come out of the oven soon.
Well, I hope you'll keep us updated on your progress. Thank you very much for your time today.
You bet.
Aidan Killich, the CEO of Hive Digital Technologies.